So far, 2025 has been pretty dry when it comes to new MMO releases, and initially, it was looking like one of those years where we don't actually have anything big release, with Archage Chronicles being delayed until 2026. Recently, however, things have changed, with all signs pointing to Chrono Odyssey being the big AAA MMORPG release of this year, after they shared this video on their Twitter.
Where's she heading? No! No!
Aside from that, Chrono Odyssey playtest signups have recently become available on Steam, and in a recent Kakao Games investor report it was said that the closed beta testing is going to be in the first half of 2025, so very soon. With Kakao Games publishing both Archage Chronicles and Chrono Odyssey, it doesn't make sense to release them both at the same time, with these games sharing a similar audience. Considering we already know that Archage Chronicles is releasing in the first half of 2026, it makes perfect sense that Chrono Odyssey will target a Q4 2025 release. Oh, it's also worth mentioning that NCSoft recently went live with their Aeon 2 website, and will be giving us more information on that game later this month. Apparently, Aeon 2 is going to be releasing in Q4 2025 to Q1 2026 in Korea first, with a global release later on. But given NCSoft's recent trend of releasing MMOs with real money auction houses, and Aeon 2 being mobile crossplay, it's likely not going to be a game that will compete with the releases of Chrono Odyssey and Archage Chronicles, which seems to be more PC focused. In this video, we'll discuss everything that's publicly known about Chrono Odyssey so far, as well as my hopes and expectations for the game. But first, support the content by listening to today's sponsor. On Monday, a brand new anime open world RPG was revealed to the world called Silver Palace, and it looks gorgeous. In the trailers, we saw a massive Victorian-themed metropolis set within the game's unique gothic fairy tale aesthetic. We saw airships, flying mounts, old cars, streets packed with NPCs, and next-gen anime graphics with the game utilizing Unreal Engine 5. As far as anime RPGs go, Silver Palace has quite a unique theme in that in this game you take on the role of a detective. We can see in the trailer that you can analyze different NPCs to uncover enemies, some of whom are disguised as civilians. My favorite part of the gameplay trailer was seeing that you can actually drift on your horse, as well as traverse the city with these grapple lines. Most importantly though, the game seems to have a cast of characters including waifus that are clearly full of personality. As far as gameplay goes, it's lightning fast action combat where you're able to use both melee weapons and guns, as well as perform stylish execution abilities to finish enemies once they're low on health. In this scene here, we've got an epic boss fight that shows off the game's parry mechanics, which seem to build up the boss's break bar. I do love a good parry mechanic, so for me this is looking really good. TLDR, hot characters, unique world and theme, great anime aesthetic, and combat that looks very good. Thanks to Silver Palace for sharing this gameplay footage early and sponsoring this video, and make sure to keep this game on your radar by following them on their socials linked in the description below. So, Chrono Odyssey, what's known about this game so far? Well, quite a lot if you dig through the game's various trailers and articles over the years, as well as listen to the recent Kakao Investors call. Chrono Odyssey was initially announced 5 years ago, and during that time developed fairly quietly, opting to not hype the game years out from a full release, which is definitely the best approach in my opinion. Over the years, they released multiple trailers, Twitter posts, and interviews with various press, talking about and showing off the game's world, combat system, theme, and classes. When it comes to combat, Chrono Odyssey features a true real-time action combat system. In this game, every class can equip and switch between 2 weapons at once in the middle of combat with the game's weapon switching system. You'll be able to dodge, block, and blink to avoid enemy attacks, and aside from your standard attacks, we can also see that each class has its own abilities. When I first saw the gameplay trailers for Chrono Odyssey, my initial reaction was, this looks like Dark Souls style combat. You can clearly see that there's no soft target system pointing your character in the direction of the enemy. The only other MMO that has this more grounded Souls style action combat system is New World. Given that Korean MMOs are known for having the best action combat, I'm expecting a combat system that's similar to New World but better in every way. From trailers and interviews, we already know that Chrono Odyssey will have 6 classes: the Swordsman, Ranger, Sorcerer, Paladin, Berserker, and Assassin. These classes will not be gender locked according to the game's Steam page, and you'll be able to customize your character with a high level of freedom, including body types, hairstyles, makeup, scars, and probably a lot more. Korean MMOs basically always have S-tier character creators, so I wouldn't expect this one to be any different. When it comes to the weapons, we've seen the following shown in various footage and images for the game over the years. Some of these may or may not make it into the final game. Sword and shield, greatsword, longsword, rapier, mace, tower shield, spear, bow, crossbow, staff, spellbook, dual axes, great axe, dual daggers, and rifle. How about the world? Is it open world or instanced? So far, the game probably sounds like an action RPG MMO light, and looking at the trailers initially, I wasn't sure if this was just going to be a modern Vindictus or something. Good news, Chrono Odyssey is indeed a full MMORPG with a large open world consisting of many different biomes, including grasslands, snowlands, swamps, and more. This game also isn't just about the combat either. You'll be able to take a break from the action and chill out with some life skills in the open world in the form of harvesting, logging, mining, and skinning. These activities will give you resources that you can use to craft new equipment and consumables. So what type of content can we expect to see in Chrono Odyssey? PvE seems to be a big focus of this game so far, with the game's Steam page specifically mentioning the game will have dungeons and raids. What's interesting here is that it also says if you're strong enough, these dungeons and raids might be possible to clear solo. This further backs up that the game will have a true action combat system, as surely the only way you could solo a raid boss would be by perfectly dodging all of its attacks. On the Steam page, PvP content is mentioned, but only briefly, and it's super vague. I asked Grok to search for information on the PvP stuff, but it didn't come out with anything concrete. PvP is a big part of most Korean MMOs though, so I guess we'll have to wait to find out more on this later on. What's most intriguing about Chrono Odyssey is this game's theme. This is a dark fantasy MMO, and gore is listed as one of the top tags for this game on Steam, as we can see from the gameplay trailers that clearly show blood when you attack. Chrono Odyssey's theme is clearly centered around the concept of time. In this game, players will be using an artifact called a chronotector, which allows them to stop time around monsters or rewind time to explore past generations of the open world before environmental and historical events changed the landscape. Enemies in this game also look quite creepy. They're void-like temporal enemies that often lack facial features. Other enemy types seem to include demons, skeletons, animals, dragons, and colossal beasts. So what are my thoughts? So far, Chrono Odyssey looks great and is without a doubt one of the biggest upcoming MMO releases on the horizon. Here's the thing, it's a Korean MMO. The biggest question I have is how pay to win will this game be? We already know Chrono Odyssey is confirmed to be a buy-to-play game, so that means it will definitely have a cash shop to support the ongoing development costs of updates. Chrono Odyssey is developed by NPixel, the developers behind Grand Saga, which was a pay-to-win game, and it's being published by Kakao Games, who also have a bad reputation when it comes to monetization. Regardless of the game likely being pay to win, I do think Chrono Odyssey will still be worth playing for the first few months of its release. Unlike a lot of Korean MMOs, this one seems to be going for a global launch right off the bat, so everyone will be going in blind at the same time. Usually, Korean MMOs release in Korea first, then globally later on, which results in players already knowing the meta, the optimal leveling path, and money-making strats before a game's even released. But that shouldn't be the case here, so hopefully we'll all be able to go in and enjoy it together, even if it's only temporary. But that's it for this video. I'll try to keep you guys posted with the latest Chrono Odyssey news as it comes out. I also plan on doing a first impressions vid as soon as it's playable with no NDA. Also, probably a good idea to go sign up for the playtest on Steam, as that should be dropping really soon. Let me know your thoughts on Chrono Odyssey so far in the comments below, and also if you got any value from this video, help us out with a like for the algorithm. Thanks for watching, social media on screen, and I'll see you in the next one.